It's the last regular season home game or away game. We got to talk about it. We're off to a great start. Let's go. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Welcome in, everyone, to the PHNX Rising Podcast. Appreciate everyone joining us here on a Thursday evening. We are here on the almost eve of the last regular season game of the 2024 season.
Away game, Max.
Away game.
Yeah,
It is almost here. It is, some might say, most might say, almost everyone might say, mercifully over, and we are charging into playoffs with a bunch of enthusiasm. I'm Max Simpson. I'm joined by the one, the only Owain, the Oracle Evans. And then we also have Stat Lackey Rees. Gentlemen, we're just feeling optimistic. We're feeling great, aren't we?
You know why? Because it's Kit Thursday.
It is Kit Thursday. Do you remember? You know what? I remember when Max
we're
Simpson
starting like this.
told us that Kit Thursday was going to be a thing.
That guy says a lot.
And
of
that he
things.
was gonna. I know that guy does say a lot of things, and maybe we need to stop. Listening to those lot of things. But I mean, because apparently someone doesn't participate in Kit Thursday anymore.
That's not true.
I mean, look, I've got a 90s Cardiff shirt on. He's got a
I have my PHNX Rising kit
of a
on.
90s
I have my
England
PHNX
shirt on.
Sorry, I have to rep the brand.
You said it was Kit Thursday.
I mean,
Where's your kit, man?
You're on fraud watch,
it's
Max.
under
When
this.
did you
You're
last
fraud.
do
It's
Kit
under
Thursday?
this. Don't you worry.
Just I don't even know what to say, Max. I'm speechless.
Well, we're all
Don't
better
worry,
off for it.
Devin. We've bolted down his chair so he can't throw it.
It's not a
okay.
plastic chair.
It's not a plastic chair.
We're all better off for it. Make sure everyone do what Fat Kid says. Hit that like button on your way in here. Got Fat Kid in the chat, Siley in the chat, Devin all in the chat. We're all rocking here. Of course, we got Mr. Kyle Cooper extraordinaire behind the Mac, pushing the buttons, doing his thing, folks. Again, as you know, as we've done so many times throughout this season, the last podcast before, each of these season games, we got to go through a little big deep dive preview. We're going to go through the Phoenix Rising perspective. We are going to go through the Louisville City perspective, give some score predictions, chat some other stuff, go from there. How do we say?
Yeah.
You like it?
Sounds good, Max.
Yeah.
I don't know why
All
you're
right.
looking for feedback
Yeah.
on that one.
I'm
Max.
just making
You're
sure.
the one driving the bus right now. Come on.
I am the oldest. Let's not forget that. All right.
We can tell.
We got, okay, that's harsh, but sure, fair. Let's see, Banduda Bluebird in the chat, Kevin in the chat, I blame my father for re-stressing faux pas. That's incredible. All right, well,
Shameful.
let's talk from a Phoenix Rising perspective, right? They had an outing against Memphis, who didn't, in listening to your guys' kind of review of the match a little bit, didn't really do a whole lot from the attacking output perspective. I'm even hearkening back to our post game, kind of one of those where, there's room for improvement. Who's going to be the guy to do it against Louisville? What do we think? Who do we want to see step up?
I mean, I want to see Jearl Margaritha back in the
darn
starting
right.
lineup, and I think that's
Is Margaritha time?
It's always Margaritha
Blend.
time.
Put him
Max.
in a blender.
I can't say things like that.
Actually, I
'cause
don't
I'm
think you. I actually don't think you
18.
can.
That's.
I was talking about the player, and I got confused, Max. It's just disgusting.
I'm talking about.
But the player,
We're talking about the player putting the moves on people, putting them in the blender. What do you think we're
Okay,
talking
sure.
about?
But anyways, back to the
We're
player.
talking about
the
the same
player.
thing.
All right, you know what? Kyle, just cut the camera to me, please. Let's get it away from this because I don't know where Max is going right now. We need to get this back on track. But Rees is right. Jearl Margaritha, right? We've seen what he can contribute to this team on the wings. We've seen what he's done when he came in. This team hadn't scored. He comes in that Loudon game and he manages to get a goal.
It's not bad.
You see some of the other just... I think he just brings something else to this attack.
Mhm.
We knew when you came in, right, when he came in that Rising were hoping to play a little bit more vertically. They were hoping to find ways to just, integrate more of that wing play into their game. And they just didn't, it felt like, have the right players to do so earlier on in the season. Seeing him come in, seeing Darius Johnson come in, we'll have a little bit more from Darius Johnson later on chance creation and kind of what they're looking at in that sense. But those guys definitely add something a little bit different. But Jearl Margaritha in particular, I think we know what he's capable of. We've seen what he did in the second division in the Dutch leagues. Obviously, you've got to make the most of having him back now from international duty, back from going away for those games at Curacao, which he was starting, of course, in those games. And really now, you're hoping, I think, these next couple of games on the weekend, also into the first round of the playoffs, you're hoping that you're going to see Jearl Margaritha at his peak and just really getting the most out of him.
I just want to make sure, right? Is this officially setting the record straight that you are issuing a formal apology to Jearl Margaritha for, really saying that he was not going to come in and maybe make a massive positive contribution, as you have said for other Phoenix Rising signings in the past?
Here's the thing I'll say about this. If we're going to talk about Jearl Margaritha and expectations as he came in, right? He's been an important part, I think, of the change in the attack in terms of the, just what he brings in wide spaces. But the team overall still has work to do.
Sure.
He alone is not necessarily transformational to the extent that the team requires.
He's not a miracle worker.
No, he's not a miracle worker, right? And that's the thing. This team has so many issues still, I think, at this point. There's a reason, right? They're finishing 8th.
This team is never
realistically. I think they will finish.
This
8th,
team, and not at any one point this season, was one player away. So, I mean, I'll give you that. But I do think I think we can all agree. I mean, listen, out of the three of us, you're the biggest Jearl stan on here. Is if you're looking for one guy to completely change the dynamic of how you're playing, how you're attacking, you can call it what it is. Even if he's not the one putting the ball in the back of the net, they are a far worse team offensively without him on the pitch.
No, I agree. I mean, you saw that in that Memphis game. He had that one ball that ultimately led to a shot on target, and that was the disallowed goal for offside. And when he comes onto the pitch, there's always a flurry of chances. I mean, Rising just didn't have the chances in that Memphis game. They didn't create chances, and we saw that it was the 4 shots within the first 80 minutes, and Margaritha comes on towards the end of that span, and then they get a flurry of shots. I think he's a 90-minute player, and then you combine him with DJ on the other wing, and I think Rising can look a lot better going forward.
I'll pull you up a little bit on that, though, in terms of the late chances. That's not necessarily a Jearl Margaritha thing. Yes, it helps when he comes on late, right? In terms of he, again, is a very good player. I think he should be starting. But the counterpoint to that is that the story of late chances, of battling late, too little, too late, has been a story all season long. That's more a built-in feature, it feels, with this Phoenix Rising team, rather than something that was specifically, well, they brought Jearl on late in that game, so that's what the difference was. It feels as though, for how much of this season have we been saying that this team has a tendency, they'll fall behind early, and then they'll struggle, they won't necessarily create enough, and then you get to that last 10 minutes, and at those last 10 minutes, when you can throw the kitchen sink at it, you can go out there and just say, you know what, we're chucking everything forward, we're going for all of those chances. That's just been the story of the season. So yes, I agree, he's raised the bar within this team. I don't think that's in question really from anyone at this point, but especially I think as you look back at that last game, a lot of those late changes, I think that's just, to be honest, symptomatic of what this team is.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. But I do think quite a few were from Jearl, and that's more what I'm going at. I mean, obviously you're going to have more chance to lay it on when you're down a goal, but I think Jearl led to some of the better chances. That's more what I'm pointing at. I think on the other side, for the first 60 or so minutes, Darius Johnson, I did think he was better than he had looked.
Agreed.
He led to some opportunities in the final third. He didn't lead to any shots but his movement on the left wing was excellent. And then in the second half, that started to slow down. And then Jearl brought in, kind of rejuvenated it, in my opinion. I do understand what you're saying, though, is that there was more of throwing the kitchen sink, but I do think Jearl played a part in that.
I will say, you're bringing up Darius Johnson. Should we have a listen, actually, to Darius Johnson speaking about the chances this team created in the last game?
For me, when I like to watch the games back quite a lot, and I see that we do create the opportunities. I think for me, myself, I can speak on behalf of the team as well, but myself, in certain situations, you have to be much more clinical because they're the little details that matter the most, and that's how you win games. So I think as a squad and me personally, we have to be much more clinical in front of the goal and finish the chances we get because we might not get too many.
I mean, listen, you got to be able to take advantage of your opportunities. I mean, I think this is how we've seen this club play throughout the entire season. I think that, right, you need to be able to bury your clear-cut chances. I also think, though, that at the same aspect, this club doesn't create a lot of these clear-cut chances at times. They can often make it harder for themselves. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the best clubs, right, not just in USL Championship, but also throughout all of global football, you are able to take some of those half chances and convert them at a higher rate. This club just does not have the capability of doing that with the players that they have in that personnel. Okay. Now that's not to say there's a knock on them, but right. Again, this team is last year where you just have a higher ceiling of talent. You're able to create some of those half chances and make them into something. I think you need this team to create more clinical chances and get bit cleaner looks for them to actually bury the ball in the back of the net. We just don't see that on a consistent basis. I will kind of split the difference in what you both are saying in that I think Jearl Margaritha could be the guy to most often do that. It remains to be seen, though, is if you can do it across a full 90-minute stretch without either him waiting or the entire team waiting. I do think he also needs a bit more support and finishing on that end. But, I mean, to what Owain is saying, it can't be him alone. And there needs to be the rising tide. Nice. Lifts all ships there.
What I will say on that one, I think I see your point on that. I think one of the bigger issues is that ever since Jearl Margaritha has been here as well, he's playing alongside a mostly out of form Tomás Ángel. Okay? So when you're bringing up the idea of him creating chances, him, helping to serve up things for others, the biggest issue you have is the fact that the guy you'd hope he's targeting most of the time hasn't been on form. He hasn't been able to find that form. He hasn't been able to find those goals that you really want to get out of a guy who comes in with a pretty high pedigree, who came in as someone who realistically had to be a late season game changer type player, given when he came in and given the struggles Rising have had in that position with Remy Cabral's injuries, with the fact that Darius Formella isn't really a true number 9. When you put all of that together, you need Tomás Ángel to be more productive in those moments. And one open play goal over the stretch of his entire spell here to date doesn't really cut it in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, again, listen, you're at the point, and I mean, goodness, we've already been past this point for a while where you can't be making fundamental shifts or hoping for, but there's this wrinkle that we haven't deployed. I mean, unless it's somehow the greatest strategy that we just don't know of yet. But I think, right,
you'd have done it already.
And that's, actually, this is the plan all along, is to, finish in
maybe
a place
not
and just
make the playoffs
and just exactly keep them guessing. No, it's no, listen, I mean, I don't think that there is that silver bullet, and really where, if this club is going to have a chance in, as they try to make a playoff run, is having the defense hold up, kind of playing that you're getting very limited chances from the opposition. And then when they are able to attack, it's able to do it at pace, maybe not a full-fledged counter team, but at least one where you're able to get it out wide, have Jearl make some moves. And I mean, listen, even if it's like serving it into that, I mean, granted that goal was disallowed, in the second half that would have equalized against Memphis, but ones like that where he's able to get in isolation, whip across in, and serve it up to them. I just don't think that you're going to get these half chances just have not been falling for this squad. So listen, this last match against Louisville is realistically, well, not realistically, it is your last true run out where there's really not a massive consequence if you lose, except for Owain, who has to travel to Albuquerque. But other than that,
go on vacation to Albuquerque.
No, it's not a vacation to Albuquerque.
Vacations over here.
I wouldn't go picking any trip to Albuquerque. I've got to be honest.
There
You
goes
know
our
what?
visit Albuquerque
Do you
campaign.
really need to get me started on Albuquerque, boys? Do you really need to get me started on Albuquerque?
Save it for save it for next week. Save it for next
save
week.
it next
That'll
week,
be good
please.
content. No, but I mean,
I will add actually, by the
Yes.
way, on that one, just again, I've tweeted about this, and I know other people have been picking up on these as well. What we do know so far in terms of dates, by the way, for playoff games, dependent on potential opponents, we do know that if Rising goes to play New Mexico, that game will be on the Sunday. So do not plan as though it's going to be on the Saturday. It will be on the Sunday, and it will be an evening kickoff. If Rising goes to Las Vegas, don't plan for the Saturday. It will be the Friday.
Oh, man.
The Friday night
buckle
in
up.
Vegas. If Rising plays Las Vegas in the first round. So there you go. Just a bit of context in there. And yeah. And to Devin's point, the Balloon Fiesta, no, I was there actually. The last game that Rising played there. The balloons were in town.
Did you
I
go?
did not go, no.
Okay, to
Disappointing.
be fair, it actually is not. That is the one fun thing. You did miss out on
Well, there's
that.
two. You know what the other one is, right?
Leaving
Leaving.
Albuquerque.
He learned so
Tweeting
quickly.
about the fact their airport doesn't have
Oh,
a ceiling.
okay.
and one
Okay,
because
all
of their
right. Well,
fans. I mean,
there
I don't know.
our Albuquerque airport partnership. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a partnership. with
not
Albuquerque. I don't
with
think we're
that.
getting a partnership with Albuquerque. Full stop.
Visit
Admittedly, those guys.
Albuquerque?
They actually
they-
do spend a lot of money here in town.
They
so
do.
they
The number of times I've
why don't
seen
you-
this stuff,
So why don't you stop? Why don't you? Why don't you?
No, I got to be real. Albuquerque is a terrible place. I wouldn't go there.
Well, listen,
By choice.
we're just gonna make sure this is unlisted on places. But anyway, outside of
Max about to say this next segment brought to you by Albuquerque.
stop it. Outside of Jearl Margaritha, nice cat.
We've
Nice
gone off
catch.
the rails already
Yeah.
right now. I'm slagging
20
off
minutes.
Albuquerque.
We're
He's dropping
minute
his
17.
laptop.
That's pretty good. Now, outside of Joe Margaritha, who else do we like to step up? From this Rising side.
It's gonna have to be the defense when you're
Yeah.
playing against Louisville. I mean, they just score goals for fun. I mean,
They really do.
Wilson Harris, Philip Goodrum, that's
Yeah.
their main two, and it's
Yeah.
just when they
Little
score
spoiler
that
for
many
next segment.
goals. Potmar Boy, Juan Mayor, whoever else starts on the back line alongside them are going to have to be probably deliver their best performance of the season to slow down this Louisville
Yeah.
attack. And I think they have it in them, but it's still going to be a tall order.
It is going to be a tall order, right? Again, Rising have been good defensively, so it's not necessarily entirely a question of stepping up, right?
Mhm.
They have limited most opponents to a pretty respectable number of goals, even if they give up, the odd goal here and there, like they did against Memphis,
Yeah.
right? It was respectable. They don't get absolutely demolished, it feels, in pretty much any of these games, because
Yeah.
defensively they're sound enough that maybe they give up a goal, maybe they give up a second, but they're not going to give up 4 or 5.
Yeah.
The problem you've got is that because this team feels at times so inept in the attack at times, right, in terms of actually finding a way to put the ball in the back of the net, that's where your problem is. Now, here's what I'll also add on the how good Louisville's attack is. If you look at the expected goals from this year, so New Mexico United are top of the West. They also have the highest figure in the West at 48.55. Louisville City, who have won the Players' Shield, they've won the Eastern Conference regular season now. How many expected goals for Louisville City? Just to put this in context.
I already know it. So Max,
You know,
it's your
Max. Give me a guess. Bearing in mind that New Mexico is 48.5.
Wait, are you talking about overall in the season?
Yeah.
Overall in the season.
Goodness.
So if New Mexico are 48.55, what do you think Louisville are?
I mean, they've bagged 82, which is
What's their XG?
absolutely insane. Give me. I'm trying to think if they're overperforming or underperforming. Give me a gentleman's 85.
Oh man, you're not even close.
nowhere near. It's 63.39, which is high. It's the highest in the league.
gosh,
There's only one other team anywhere close, and it's Tampa Bay Rowdies, who also are a team who are pretty good. Now, here's the thing.
82
When you brought
goals.
up the
That's crazy.
defense needing to step up, I wasn't really thinking on that kind of line, because to me, the defense have been pretty decent already. The guy I was thinking needs to step up is Federico Varela. And the reason is he is likely to be starting this game again, right? Julio Dorothiotto he missed the last game because of he picked up a knock in training during the week, right? You're not going to risk him in this game. That was hinted at by Diego Gómez this week in training. You know, they're not going to. Yes, they want to win the game, They're not going to take risks of someone. Maybe they may push them in a different scenario. They're not going to do that here. So Giulio Artiotto is almost certainly not playing. The aim for him is going to be first week of playoffs. Therefore, you need a guy like Fede to step up, right? We haven't seen enough, I think, from Federico Varela in the 2 years he has been here. We know some of the pedigree he's got there. You see it in moments. You do see in moments where the passing can be very, very crisp, very good, finds people in threatening areas. You've seen him score goals at times, but he doesn't ever do it consistently. He doesn't seem like he typically does it for 90 minutes or for however long he remains out there on the field. You need to see a complete performance from this guy. You're paying him the money you're paying him for a reason. You need him to step up and be one of the better players on your team. And especially in the absence of a Giulio Artiotto, especially where you've seen other players in the squad struggle a little bit there from time to time in terms of finding the back of the net. You need someone like him to step up and give you another option in that attack, especially, again, against good teams, which you're going to play one this week. You're going to play one probably in that first round of the playoffs. You need him to step up.
I mean, you kind of see, you know, the profile of his game and I guess comparatively other alternatives on the squad. He plays a slower, more methodical build-up game. He has been best against, you know, these opponents where they either have a low block or Rising is not either A, chasing a goal, or B, looking to hit off the counter. And I mean, I think against this Louisville squad, I mean, I see asking a little bit up, producer Kyle, someone's asking in the chat about reserves. Kevin in the chat, Louisville has clinched home field even for the final, though, right? Won't they play reserves? I mean, we'll get into the next section. Like their reserves are, even if they do, very strong.
I'll also add this bit of context here. While they're no longer chasing the points record and they can't break the wins record,
I know what you're saying.
They can tie the wins record. So they can put themselves in the record book for USL Championship. They would be tied with 2019 Phoenix Rising for most wins in a season. Yeah.
So, no, I mean, like, again, Fede does have, like, there are advantages to playing him. There are advantages to having him be, you know, that kind of fulcrum of the attack. It's just, I think it really is opponent perspective. And I think, again, against, you know, teams that are often higher up, and it's not always this way, but right, against teams higher up in the table where they're maybe less likely to, you know, sit back, where they're a little bit more offensive themselves. It's just, some of his style, it just maybe isn't, you know, exactly what you're looking for. I don't know if this is the matchup for it. There's other ones maybe down the road in playoffs where things are a little bit tighter. If you need someone to unlock a defense, yeah, you could justify that. I don't know if this one is it, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, you're placed in a position where you really can't play anyone else.
That's the tough part.
I mean, unless you go Jose Hernandez, and we all have our opinions on him playing the ball forward, but you're in a position where you just have to go with him. I mean, in the Memphis game, I thought he delivered more positive moments than he had in a bit in his last few performances, but if he can finally take that leap, this would be a good time to do it. I just cannot see it happening.
Right, and again, that kind of gets back to what I was on about in terms of we see the flashes, we see moments from Fede Varela. We know what he's capable of when he's playing at his best, but it feels that so often we just don't see a player who is consistently at that level. A player who can come out and give you a complete performance and do it not just 1 week as well, but sometimes in a couple of weeks in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we talk about, you know, I think the defense will be key here. Phoenix Rising allowed the second fewest goals in the West, just behind at 35 goals conceded, just behind Sacramento Republic with 33 goals conceded, best for fourth overall in the USL Championship, behind against Sacramento Republic, Detroit City FC, and was it Charleston? Yeah, and Charleston Battery.
And Pittsburgh.
Oh, and Pittsburgh. All right, fifth. You know, counting's hard. Counting's hard.
We can tell.
Yeah. All right, listen. But yeah, right. I mean, listen, the defense, I it's not even saying that not worth about talking about the defense. I mean, I think there's, you know, there has been some inconsistent play here and there, but I think maybe that's sometimes down to the individual perspective. I think as a whole, I'm never worried about that, because you know who's between the sticks, you know who they have in the back line. Like, that to me is never going to be the talking point when you're not able to put the ball in the back of the net. So
I'm also going to say, actually, there was one comment who was way further back, so I'm not going to ask producer Carl to go find it, but someone brought up about Laurence Wyke keeping his head. That is a big thing, I think, for everybody on this team for this game, right? There are not going to be yellow card accumulation suspensions into the playoffs. Those don't happen. But if you get sent off in this game, you will miss the first round of the playoffs. You need to keep your head. Don't get baited into anything stupid. Don't go into any stupid challenges.
Just like you
don't
did.
lose your head. Keep your head in the game and keep yourself in the game. You cannot afford to pick up any kind of red card in a game like this where there's not really a whole lot on the line, even though seeding that can come into it, but there's not that much on the line.
Yeah.
When it will then rule you out of a big game coming up in a week's time.
That's very fair. Well, listen, we've talked playing about Rising's perspective. On the other side of the break, we will talk about Louisville City's perspective, how they have some keys to the game, how they can get 3 points in this last regular season matchup for these two clubs on the other side of the break. Yes, but of course, Owen's talking about, making sure you keep your head. You can keep your head with our friends over at Branded Bills. And he's talking about you can't afford to get, sent off, miss the first playoff match. Absolutely. But you can afford our friends with Branded Bills. Head on over to brandedbills.com. Use promo code PHNX for 20% off your first order. I see Bo Brock from PHNX Cardinals walking away. He's wearing a little Branded Bills Arizona flag hat. They got the ASU hats. They got the U of A hats. Everything to make the top of your dome look that much better, right? It's that easy. Everyone's commenting about Fede has nice hair and all that stuff in the chat, and that's great. He'd look even better with a nice Branded Bills hat. Again, our friends over at Branded Bills. That easy. Trucker hats, custom hats, the little dad hats, all the different things, little rope hats. Schnazz it up a bit. Super easy to do. brandedbills.com, promo code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Do it today. Tell them Max Simpson sent you. Maybe we'll throw a little something extra on there for you.
Will they?
Nope. The PHNX code is plenty. 20% off. But also check out our friends over at Circle K. Circle K, they help you out there. Their Inner Circle program. And
what happens if you tell them Max sent you to Circle K?
Oh, I mean, they'll just probably applaud you and throw a parade. But also, I don't know what producer Kyle's doing. Yeah, he's scrambling because he doesn't have anything yet. Run, go get the snacks, Kyle.
Right, Max, come on, tell these people about the
Kyle is running
program.
to go get snacks because he realized he is slacking on what he's doing. But who's not slacking? Our friends at Circle K. It is America's thirst stop. Joining the Inner Circle program, free membership program. You save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every day afterwards until you hit the max level. Then you get to 5 cents off per gallon. No one asked you. Again, friends at Circle K, they have the snacks. The Circle K snacks, by the way, are better. As a scientific fact.
It is.
They are yes. When Rees is agreeing with me, it's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is better scientifically than all the other ones out there.
Snacks brought together Spurs and Arsenal.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The power of Circle K. It's beautiful. There we go. Head on over them. All right, Mr. Kyle. Just for the content. Let's get a little toss. We haven't done this in a minute. What do you throw? What are we throwing, sir?
Start choking on it.
Oh, stop that.
If we keep doing this. There's a real risk of that right now.
We
sour
like that.
gummy.
Wait, what are the colors of the sour gummy worm? Oh, that's more my speed. All right, cool. Let's go. Here we go, Max. Okay, that was a low throw.
That was very bad. I mean, that was just
one
Arsenal
more?
fans.
One more.
That was Phoenix Rising
one more.
finishing right there. One more.
It was ASMR, by the way.
No, they don't want to hear you chewing, Max. No one wants to hear you chewing.
Here we go. A little high. Oh, man. Still kind of like...
You backed into it, though.
That was
Max.
Stop it.
That was more
If you'd have
Max than
leant
Kyle.
forward, then you could have possibly...
I don't think
I won't
Kyle's
say you
throw was
definitely
good.
would have, but there was a better
Another
chance
one.
you moved backwards.
They're actually really good. One more. That's actually really good.
All right.
Here we go. Third time's the charm. Clearly isn't.
Okay, that was also Kyle again. All right, we're done here. Otherwise, I'm gonna get a sugar rush and crash. We don't want that. We got to keep the show moving. Stop it, Louisville City, right? Again, we mentioned it, right? Rising for all their defensive prowess. Scoring wise, maybe not so, and it has contributed to the season ends today. And honestly, even when they play out, Louisville City are going to have the most points in the league overall and amongst playoff teams, by definition. Phoenix Rising, amongst all playoff teams, East and or West, will have the lowest points, or at the best case, tied for lowest points.
No, they may not be lowest. There's a scenario where Rising get a result and Orange County and Oakland don't.
Oh, that's
Big
fair.
if.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
an if,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's,
fair.
it is
That's
a
fair.
scenario which could happen.
That's fair. You're right. Right. Well, you're right. It is a big F. Well, you know, even if that does happen, right, we're calling it, let's say it's towards the bottom end. You're looking at a gap of 30 plus points. Now also, you know, Louisville City very much running away with things, but it just kind of shows it's a lot of gulf in talent, especially from the attacking sense. Gentlemen, I heard you guys both say a couple names when we were discussing Rising's perspective from the Louisville City matchup. From Louisville, they got some talent. And again, whether it's the reserves, their starters, whatever, it's kind of scary.
You just heard that nervous laugh from Rees.
Yeah.
That kind of tells you a lot there, doesn't it? You look at some of those players and you just know that you're not going to have fun. I mean, they brought in Philip Goodrum as a sub.
For fun.
Nasty.
Like, they brought him up as like,
fun.
oh, yeah, we'll have him as like a backup kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I'll do the job. I mean, okay. That's scary. Obviously, when you have a guy like Wilson Harris, again, you know, you're probably not going to be in for a good time on the other side of that, are you?
17 goals.
17 goals this year. Wow.
That's not bad.
What would you give for a double-digit goal scorer? What's Rising's highest goal scorer right now?
7, Remy Cabral.
Okay, cool.
A guy that's oh
Missed
boy,
a
yeah,
good
missed,
chunk.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's tough.
if the Louisville have 7 players that have 5 or more goals this year, Rising 2.
They had them in Darius.
Yeah, Cabral and Darius.
Yeah.
They have Wilson Harris 17, Jansen Wilson 9, Ray Serrano 7, Sean Touch 7, Taylor Davila 7, Elijah Winder 6, Jake Morris 5. I mean, that's just
So what I'm counting there is
A
I've
lot.
got 5 players that are at least as good as Rising's top goal scorer in terms of output this year.
it's
Cool.
Yeah,
it's a lot of goals. I
That
mean,
sounds painful.
Heading towards a first round upset is what I'm hearing for.
yeah. With
Yeah.
a
I
lot
mean,
of
they may
momentum
do. The
after
way
it.
this league works is a strange, funny old league.
It's kind of crazy.
It's a funny old league.
Yeah, well, hey guys, look on the bright side. They only scored 1 against San Antonio.
they're,
last
they're
week.
coming in on really bad form.
Yeah.
They just dropped points for the first time in like 2 weeks. But the 1-1 draw versus San Antonio. Their other fun stat for Louisville: they only have lost 1 game so far at home this season. They've won every other one. So
Who'd they lose to this year?
5-2 versus Rhode Island. And like
Gosh,
Ooh,
and the last
Rhode
time they
Island.
lost overall was a month ago. My gosh, they're riding a 5-match unbeaten streak.
So what I'm hearing is Rising will be going to Albuquerque a week from Sunday.
It's very possible.
So Owain. Yeah,
I mean, they have lost 1 game since the start of September.
when you are, I mean, you're
They've
look,
actually lost, by the way, 2 games. How many games have they lost in that? So 2 games since, say, July 7th. We'll take the cutoff of being a day after the
Meh.
3rd one. Though. But yeah, they over that stretch they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games, drawn 1 and lost 2.
I mean, when you
11
are,
wins, 1 draw, 2 losses is the
when you're over the course of the season,
Last
you're
14.
averaging almost 2.5 goals per match. That's insane. That's no slight work, folks. That's gonna win you a lot of matches. That's
that
absolutely,
loss is the last time they didn't score 2 goals as well, by the way.
Gosh,
The last time that they failed to score
oh boy,
was 6th of July
oh my gosh.
against Oakland Roots, away at Oakland Roots.
Oh, so Rising beat Oakland. Oakland held Louisville to nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
No?
well,
Rising go on the road and upset Louisville.
I actually see that they've only failed to score, I believe, in 2 games this year. if I'm correct on this, because in the losses they've scored in all of them except that Oakland game, and in the draws only one of them was
Well,
a
good
0-0
thing
draw.
that this match is mostly non-consequential.
Yeah.
We love that.
Well, it decides where Owen gets to take his vacation. You know,
Well, it's not a vacation; it's a
Mr. Vacation.
miserable trip.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're looking forward to it. You can't wait to go to Albuquerque. No, we're not going to start this again. We're not
Max,
gonna-
you're coming to Albuquerque.
I
right?
am.
You are.
Yeah, totally.
He's a
Well,
big
actually, no,
Greek,
I'm
huh?
not because that's not confirmed. So you know,
Well,
I guess
if
what?
it's Albuquerque,
Yeah,
you'll go.
I guess we'll just have to wait to see.
You going to Fierce Man?
Yeah, sure, totally. We'll have to wait to see. Again, we'll have to wait to see.
He promised.
Yeah, I say things.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, I usually follow through. Let's see. I mean, right, going off of Louisville. I mean, right, we're talking about all these offensive talents. I mean, right. The chat is asking the question, and I know they're going after to tie the record for points total. I mean, listen, how on a scale of 1 to 10, and right, we don't know. We're not in the dressing room. We're not in, we're not a part of that club. But what on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being they're going to run through a brick wall, and 1 being they're going on vacation themselves, how much intensity do you think we can expect from Louisville to this one? I'm not saying that they're going to be shipping in and not trying to pick up points. I'm not trying to say they're not going to be competitive, but how much of a starting lineup should we expect that's actually going to try to really challenge Phoenix Rising?
Well, I mean, for Louisville, even if they don't play their
understand.
first choice 11,
I understand.
their second choice 11, if they played on its own team, could probably make the playoffs on its own. I mean, when you have a guy like Sam Gleadle, who's been around USL only starting 7 of the 23 he's played.
I'm aware of Mr. Sam Gleadle, former
yeah, that's why I gave that you that, Max.
What a guy.
I wanted to cross it off my bingo
I appreciate
chart,
that. What a guy.
Bingo. No, I won now. Thanks.
And what's his name?
Guy like Carlos Morgal Jr., who's also been good in previous years.
It really is crazy.
They barely get a game right now.
They've just been stacking guys who have been starting caliber players, not just starting caliber, like some of the leaders on their teams in previous seasons, even as recently as last season. And they're just, you'll just be a impact player for us off the bench. That's insane.
Yeah, and I like it, there's no, and Danny Cruz. I mean, he is a good manager there. You're going still. I mean, you can tie the record. I mean, you see your name. I mean, if it's ordered alphabetically, then they'd be top. So
there we go.
I mean, yeah, you look at these Louisville teams, and no matter which way around they're putting it, I'm just looking at their random games. I'm just pulling now and looking. Like Wilson Harris is on the bench for some of these games. Because you've got Philip Goodrum. You can pick whoever you want to go with there. Some of these games, they put Niall McCabe on the bench.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. This is when they had things to play for.
McCabe's only started 2. McCabe's only started 2 of the 25 he's played in. I mean, that's just insane. Goodrum started 4 of the 10 he's played in. How many teams can Goodrum only play in 10 and only start 4? I mean, this is just... It
might be maybe a list of 1, and he's on it. And he's on it. Man, it's gosh, that's wild. I mean, right from the home atmosphere. Listen, I'll say this, guys, is there's a lot of things, right? In theory, this could be playing against Phoenix Rising. It's just kind of looking stars that this is not something where they are clinging to a playoff berth for this match. Otherwise, that'd be a very scary proposition.
Well, this is the important thing here is that San Antonio didn't win against Louisville last week. Because if they had, I think from Phoenix Rising's perspective, knowing that you'd need a win to guarantee that you were in, that San Antonio could have then gone on and beaten Detroit at home because they're playing them at home and would have overtaken you if you failed to win in Louisville. Yeah, that's an important part to all of this, I think, because again, I just don't trust that this team will get a result, I think, this weekend. And that's not necessarily a particularly harsh thing on this team. They can hang with a lot of teams in this league. We've seen them do it in the West, but Louisville are just a step above. And it's going to take a good team, either... well, it's probably one of the top teams in the East that's going to have to knock them off if they don't go the whole way.
So listen, I'm not... I do want to play... fun game of devil's advocate.
You love playing devil's advocate, Max.
Parentheses. So you're saying there's a chance. How similar, if at all, Phoenix Rising, a couple weeks ago, go to New Mexico, number 1 team in the West, knock them off the perch. Is there any parallels there we can take to foreshadow for Rising there?
I mean, are Louisville gonna do some emotional stuff before the game, or because New Mexico walked out with kids with cancer. Let's be clear on that.
Okay, I mean, we're trying to.
It was a weird game.
Okay, I mean, all right, don't.
I'm just adding that as context here.
I understand. Okay, there's Well, all right. It's not.
Louisville are a different level to New Mexico.
See, this is what I'm trying to get to.
I think the biggest parts of this is that New Mexico have been a team who've been very good in tight games, have ground out a lot of results in games. You look at New Mexico and the number of those 2-1 wins that they've managed to pick up. Compare that to Louisville, they just steamroller people. Completely steamroller them.
New Mexico scored 44. Louisville scored 82. That's almost double.
Mexico's goal Mexico's actually that's
Double.
Mexico's goal
Almost
differential is 3. Which
Yeah,
I
because
don't.
anytime they lose, they
There's my
get-
point. How are you top of the league with a goal difference of 3?
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
That's who they are. They grind out little dinky wins, and then
I
they lose a few games by quite a few
I
goals.
mean, listen, I will say though, come playoff time, that actually it's not the worst thing knowing you can win in close matches, but that's not what we're talking about right
for
now.
context here
We love a
again.
good context.
New Mexico have scored 44 goals. Louisville's goal difference is 40.
Andrew's saying Andrew's saying Louisville probably going to park the bus. I don't know about
They're
that.
not gonna. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, Kevin in the chat, you know what? Kevin in the chat with some wisdom. Rising still the defending champions until they are not.
Yeah, I mean, question: do you count it when they get knocked out of the playoffs, or when the next champion is crowned? Like, is that when the
Ooh.
defending?
Well, they're
Okay,
not
well,
defending at the point they can't defend anymore.
Okay.
I
Well,
guess.
yeah, they're not the
This is
defending. Yeah, that's a fair point. And you
They're
said
the
you
reigning
said when.
champions.
Hey, you don't. No, it's probably going to happen this time around. Yeah. Park the
Max,
They'd be
horse.
the reigning
Promise a
champions until
tattoo,
someone's
and
gone.
maybe they'll go on.
No,
a
it's
run.
far too late for that. That was promised in
You're getting
May
a
of last
tattoo,
year.
Max. If Rise
No,
win the
no.
league?
Multiple people multiple people have already promised tattoos.
Max?
They have actually,
including
to be fair.
Max.
No, not including
No,
Max.
no. It was some guys
It'd
just
just be
saying
sad at
they're
this point.
getting the Max.
Last year was at
tattoo.
least like something to rally people around. It's just be sad right now. I don't want to put that out there.
Max. What do you do if they win?
Let's. I still have another week. Come back to me.
Tattoo.
You'll come to us with that on Tuesday,
Maybe Thursday. Come back to me.
Thursday. Okay.
Come back to me. Make Square a party bus. Kind of cool. Okay, Kevin in chat saying until someone gets the trophy. I mean, technically, yeah, but no, I disagree.
No, they're reigning champions
You're
until
reigning-
someone
see,
gets the
that's it,
champion.
not
They're not
defending.
defending
That's a good
champions
point.
because they can't defend the title at
That's
that
a good point. Well, listen, Andrew in the asking about New Mexico's is America's biggest hot dogs. For this weekend, Louisville did tweet out, and Rees, you're actually getting pseudo tagged in this. That Louisville has a $10 meal deal for Saturday's home game. You get a hot dog, a bag of chips, and a brand redacted soft drink, all for
Free
10.
ads, Max. Stop giving them free
I said
ads
brand
for their meal
redacted for
deal.
$10.
No, for their meal deal in
You
general.
said you need to go to Louisville.
Well, Owen's gonna be there. Why doesn't he get?
Yeah,
the,
Owen, why don't you do the food challenge? Yeah, let's turn this on.
Yeah,
on.
that's not a food check. I could do it. but I don't want
we
to.
heard it. You heard it. Clip that.
I
Clip that.
could. I said could. Not I
Okay,
would.
so you will.
No,
But you said
I'd rather eat something else.
Owen Evans will do the $10
I'd
meal
rather eat
challenge.
something else.
You said you would rather
I'd rather eat
We're
something
gonna
else.
mesh this together.
No, you're not, man.
Everyone in the chat, if they win, Max has to eat a soccer ball. That hurts. It hurts my.
No.
I don't
Wait,
think.
so you're doing it?
I don't think that could. I think that my digestive system. That's
Well, I mean, if only you had your 12-gallon water bottle to wash down. Where is it?
First off, it's like 2/3 of a gallon. Okay,
Where
thank
is
you.
it though? I mean,
It's in-
my
I'm, gonna be,
mom
I'm
asked
already
about it.
parched.
She
I forgot
texted
about
me
it.
and was like, "Where's the water bottle?
Marty-
Max dehydrated?"
Wait, your mum texted you about
Yeah.
Max's water bottle?
She said she's worried
that's
that Max
actually-
is dehydrated.
That's actually
Where's
really
the
nice.
water
That's
bottle?
actually, I really
Max?
do appreciate.
people
I
are
really do
wondering.
appreciate your concern.
Max has got a water bottle that holds more than my car holds gas. I feel like
Well, you need
it's-
to go to Circle K and fill up some more. Hey, got him. See how it all
that
comes
doesn't
back
make
around.
it hold more gas,
Doesn't, yeah.
man.
Yes, but you just need to go there more often because
Volume.
it's less expensive gas. Don't talk to me about volume. Well, you know what? If you're going to talk to me about volume, tell me the volume of goals that each team is going to score. Let's
Oh, gosh.
get the score predictions coming.
I'm gonna say 2-1.
3-1 Louisville.
2-1 Louisville, 3-1 Louisville. Kyle.
3-1 Louisville.
Rising? No.
Oh, yeah, that's for
Come
a
on,
second.
let's be
Yeah,
serious.
we're in the
I
chat
know,
with
Kyle,
what a
it's-
transition. You know, that's what I do. Give me, 1-all. 1-all.
Wow,
Get a point.
that's optimistic.
Get a point.
Fair play.
Nah, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not. Again, I'm not saying by any means Louisville is going to mail this in or anything like that. But like 1-1, that sounds about right. I think both these clubs are like, all right, let's get to playoffs. Let's do our thing. Give me 1-all. Kevin in the chat,
All right,
1-all.
let me give you the counterpoint to that.
Sure.
If you're Philip Goodrum or Wilson Harris, are you going out to say, I want to score a few goals now, so they have to start me in playoffs?
I mean,
Knowing how
I don't
those
wanna
two
think
guys
about
are.
that.
Am I wrong?
Nope.
Like, because if you go out and score a hat trick in this one,
If
either
you're-
of them, you can't drop them for the next game.
if you're waiting to do that till the last match, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't think.
I know, but someone might do it.
All right. I don't know. We'll see.
Fat Kid with 5-0. This is probably the most realistic
That actually might be the
one,
most real.
but I also don't think it'll be quite
Bendo's
that
Bluebird
bad.
2-0. I wonder who he's going for. Didn't mention it. Mixed squared.
Yeah, it's going to be
definitely
Louisville.
going
We
for
don't
Rising.
know that.
He's not going for
until
Rising.
he
Actually,
stands up, until he speaks
we
up
can
and says it.
presume.
Oh, there
we
it
can
is. Okay,
presume
yeah.
he did say it, but we can also presume that the first one is for the home team.
Oh,
So actually, Fat Kid is saying Rising are winning 5-0. No,
Yeah.
it's not. USL
Fat
does it the
Kid-
right way around.
Oh, no, he
I know
did,
they
he did
do.
fix it
It's a
down
shame.
there. Big Square in the chat, 3-0. Louisville.
Yep.
Devonall, Rising win. Okay. Kevin,
Well-
Rising play up and play down in their competition. I do agree
You know
with
what?
that.
You know what would
by and large.
actually just make me laugh as like this is this season
They
in
win?
a nutshell.
They win?
No, Devon being right that Rising win. And then both Orange County
Yeah,
and Oakland
that's what I
win
was gonna
anyway.
say.
So
So
it
you
means
still
it's
go to
completely and
Albuquerque.
utterly irrelevant. It doesn't do anything.
Going into
You
Mexico.
still finish 8th.
Owen
But
wants that to happen.
He really
so Rising
does.
go into the playoffs with momentum and get to go to
I don't want to
Albuquerque.
go to Albuquerque, Rees.
Stop killing the deal.
I don't want to go.
Stop it. All right. Well,
You know, if you keep telling me I would keep wanting to go to Albuquerque, I'll have to name drop the hotel, and that'll really wind Max
do
up.
not. I will cut your mic. We will cut his
If
mic.
you go into Albuquerque, by the way, and want a deal on a hotel,
No!
just DM me.
Don't do it!
I can't post it because he'll get angry about a free ad, but DM me. I got a link for you.
Don't DM him.
That sounds really
DM me on
sketchy.
Twitter. I've
That
got a
actually
link
does
for
sound
you
really bad.
on a cheap hotel in Albuquerque.
No, stop. Even this is a pseudo free ad.
4-3 Rising.
Tim go 4-3 Rising. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think there could be 7 goals scored in the match. but
Gosh. Liverpool. Okay, no one is asking about Liverpool predictions. This
we
is
don't
the-
need to talk about Liverpool Arsenal. Kyle and I already said we're going to be scared. We don't want to watch.
that
It's
this-
gonna
is that
be
this
terrible.
weekend?
It's this weekend.
sounds
Yes.
about right.
We don't need to talk about it any further. It's going to be a nightmare.
There we
It's
go.
going to be disgusting. We don't care. The referees are going to rig it again like they have
Who's
all
refereeing
season.
it?
I don't want to know.
Well, we could
Hopefully
look
not
it up.
Michael Oliver or Anthony
I'm
Taylor.
looking. I'm looking.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, Kyle, do we have the graphic right of the scenarios, or are you just chatting through that guy?
We had one for the other day, but I don't know if it's here at the
gosh,
minute. Is it
darn
here?
it.
No, not right
Oh,
now.
I thought
Oh
he
my
was gonna- I thought he
gosh,
was
it's
gonna pull- I thought he
Anthony
was gonna pull
Taylor.
it.
It's Anthony
Yay.
Taylor. It's Anthony
Oh.
Taylor.
Anthony Taylor's
Oh.
repping Louisville City and
Yeah,
Phoenix
he is,
Rising.
yeah.
That's
He's flying across the pond.
crazy.
You got Anthony Taylor. Well done, mate. Great.
That's crazy.
With Mr. Salisbury as your VAR.
Oh boy.
I don't
Mhm.
recognize that name, which is a good thing.
No, it's not necessarily a
Ugh.
good thing.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Well, listen. How?
Rising actually has, by the way, the referee that had charge of the game in Loudon. So
The Loudon Rising one?
yeah,
Okay. Do you remember anything controversial? Because I don't.
yeah, it was a penalty shot that Rising
You're
won
right.
and
You're
didn't
right.
get.
You're
Remember
right.
that?
Yeah.
And then complained about quite a bit afterwards. But Rising did win that game.
Jearl goal. Jearl goal versus
right.
Louisville coming.
This is actually a nice little something. This is pulled from Rees from last time around. Is we do have Rising's away record, right? Last week
Oh,
we
yeah.
compared the home record over the previous 3 years from 2022. And right, again, the synopsis from, especially now that Rising has played all 17 matches at home for this year, is, right, 2022, really good year for home, horrible on away. 2023, really good at home. From a goal perspective, about the same. And then 2024, this season, points even lower at home. So each of the 3 years, in the last 3 years, Rising has digressed at home from a points tally. But does it get better on the road? Kind of, because 2022 was absolutely an abysmal year on the road. 17 matches played, 3 wins, 3 draws, 11 losses, 12 points overall during that 2022 campaign. 18 goals for, 37 goals against, almost a, minus 19 goal differential. 2023 last season, 17 matches, 5 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses, 20 points on the season, 16 goals for, 23 goals against. And this season, well, you still got one more to play. Okay, 4 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses. You're right now 17 points, so 3 less points than last year, 1 less goal scored than last year, and already the same amount of goals against. So, I mean, listen, Rees, you dissected these stats. Essentially, more or less, if Phoenix Rising are able to get a win, even if it is just a 1-0 scoreline, they will essentially have duplicated their away record from last year. It's kind of crazy considering that they won the whole thing last year. And I know this doesn't include playoffs, but it just feels kind of weird to me.
I mean, I think looking at the home record too, I mean, they only finished 3 points behind last year's. It doesn't, like, the numbers don't look as bad as they feel, but they also do at the same time. It's very weird. I mean, we all know it's tough to win and pick up points away from home in this league, but Rising just haven't quite done it at the number. What is going on there, Max?
Oh, I'm just looking at his hand. He's doing the hand motion.
But still, I mean, the best teams pick up results away from home, and last 2 years, Rising really haven't done that, except for last year when it mattered in the postseason. And not saying they can do that again this year by any means. But
well, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say they're not gonna win it all. But is there any sort of precursor, considering that they had a pretty similar road record to last year? Is there any indication that they can drum up some road magic?
Yeah,
you don't like that,
Max? Are you promising a tattoo to inspire the players and the fan base?
That did not inspire the players.
It definitely did. We had a tattoo tracker after every match. Everyone's tuning into that, Max, to see. Oh,
come back to me. There's no tattoo. There's no tattoo, but come back to me next week.
Yeah, so no championship this year because of Max. You can thank him.
Also because of Kyle. He didn't show up to some home matches. Yeah, that's fair.
Don't blame Kyle. He supports Arsenal.
Got him.
But, I mean, Max, I think if you promise a tattoo, Rising will win another championship.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Do you want to see Rising win?
Nah, not at that stake. No,
we'll
be okay.
Point? I mean, it's just
nope. We'll be okay.
Max wants another tattoo.
Okay,
Max wants another tattoo.
You hush your
Get
gupper.
a full sleeve of adamant tattoos for each Rising championship.
So let's just talk through the scenarios, shall we? Though again, a reminder of the scenarios as we go into this weekend and what
Tell
it
the people.
So, if Rising wins and neither Orange County nor Oakland wins,
he's doing his
Rising
voice.
finishes 6th. If Rising wins and only one of Orange County or Oakland wins, Rising will finish 7th. And if Rising wins and both Orange County and Oakland win, Rising will finish 8th. This is the easy one now. If Rising doesn't win, Rising will finish 8th.
What about draws?
So 8th means they will play New Mexico. They will play in Albuquerque. If they finish 7th, they one of the other teams in that mixer. It remains to be seen quite who that will be. Vegas will be hosting a playoff game. We know that, but we don't know where they're going to finish in the mix because there's 2 points right now between 5th and 2nd. We know that if Memphis win, they will host the playoff game. We also know that if Sacramento and Colorado Springs, who are playing each other, win, they will host a playoff game. Besides that, it is a delightful mess that we don't really know who's going to host. And who's going to finish where. So lots of messy stuff there. The Eastern Conference is just as fun, but they have no idea who's going to even get in right now.
Roots are playing Birmingham Legion. They win.
Roots are playing Birmingham Legion. Possible because Legion are out.
Yeah. Orange County playing Hartford. They win.
Hartford
just drew, but they've got a nightmare travel schedule this week, so I don't know. Hartford do have a chance to get in though. Is the thing. So they are playing for something.
Let's say hypothetically, let's say Rising finished 7th because call me crazy. I actually could see that potentially happening. Owen,
you see a Rising win though?
Possible.
That's the bit where I find that.
Yeah,
I think Rising's win is the hardest. The idea that one of the other two, and again, this is the reality, right? Do I think that Oakland are probably better than Birmingham Legion? Yes. Do I think Orange County are probably better than Hartford? Yes. But the reason that Oakland and Orange County are where they are in the table is because they have dropped winnable games over the course of the season. It's Phoenix Rising beating Louisville, I think, is the most difficult hurdle to overcome there.
Yeah, I think for certain that one of, if not both, Oakland or Orange County pick up points, if not all 3 points. But again, it's just, can Rising pick up the... I mean, if Rising don't pick up the 3 points, none of this matters.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's fair. Outside of New Mexico, where would you like to travel?
New Mexico.
We did this whole thing on the other day.
Yeah,
You're the one who didn't do it.
Refresh the people.
I can't even remember what order
I think we had New Mexico 1. I had Vegas, then Sac, I think.
Wait, no.
See, I didn't put Vegas that high up. I think I went for like switchbacks or something, didn't I? Because I felt they were.
Yeah, because I didn't want to face switchbacks. I had switchbacks at 5, the one I least wanted to see Rising go up against, and then it was switchbacks Memphis, and then one of Sac and Vegas, and then
the critical thing to me is I didn't want Sac because I think they're a better team than they're playing lately. Switchbacks are on bad form. Memphis are on mixed form.
I don't want to go to switchbacks, man. That's crazy.
No, Memphis are on mixed form. Okay, they've got 2 wins in their last 5 and did the double over Rising this season. And then Vegas are just the best team in form in the top 5. So I don't want to go Vegas then because they're playing well.
I will say this though. We know how last season ends. You cannot always go on form on how the end of the season.
Yeah. However, but
Rising
even then,
stunk it up in those last 2 matches.
But only for 2 games. 2 games. That's the key thing. Prior to that, they were actually unbeaten in like
9.
Yeah.
But that was a weird unbeaten stretch.
You were even saying that was a hollow stretch.
We
for
talked about that
standpoint.
on the pod. There was the first part was like it was like a 4-match winning, and then the next 4 were draws or something like that.
That's exactly what it was. Revisionist Evans.
No, I don't think that is quite true. I think again they had a few draws at the end of it, but it wasn't like a long string of draws.
Oh yeah, of course.
At the end of it.
That's easy for you to say.
I feel like I remember.
Yeah, we all remember.
There was a graphic.
Pull up the clips, people. Pull up the clips. Yeah.
I'm having a look now. There were 3 draws towards the end of there, but multiple of those, if you look at it, Orange County, who finished above them in a home game here for Rising, they battered Detroit. Just before there was a draw against Tulsa, but if you look at it, it was win, draw, draw.
Win.
I mean, again, it's not the end of the world. I mean, look. The other thing about this is this team again. They went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 8 unbeaten in a stretch in August to September. Yeah, they lost those 2 games at the end. But I just don't see that same kind of
how convenient twisting into fit the narrative. I see.
I've been making this narrative for months, mate. I've done this since as soon as Rising actually got it. I said the key thing for Rising is they made themselves hard to beat. That's why they actually won it in the playoffs, and that's why they did so when almost all of those games went to extra time and penalties.
So you're saying they're going to repeat?
No, I don't see that happening because they're not drawing the same way.
That's fair. So Kevin in the chat, Rising draw is the same as a loss in terms of standings. I mean, you're not going ahead of Orange County.
Well, that's the thing. They'd only then be able to at best be level on points with Orange County, and they'd not ahead.
And you're not going ahead. Yeah, so you got to win. So draws don't matter. And also draws don't matter in the other matches because even if Rising win. And Oakland, if Rising win and Orange County draws, Rising's still ahead of Orange County. If Rising wins and Oakland draws, doesn't matter. Rising is still ahead of Oakland because they own the tiebreaker over them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, draws do not matter again in his scenario. It's wins, losses. That's it. Nice little graphic.
There's win or fail.
We will before this weekend matches hit, we will again make sure that is reshared just so everyone is aware of what the standings are. It's a little math, but easy enough. Bandu's Bluebird in the chat. Lack the firepower to win at the death in playoffs. Yeah, it's kind of feels that way. But you know what? Listen, that's a conversation for another week. It's a conversation for next week. But gentlemen, unless we have anything else, appreciate everyone joining us here on the PHNX Rising podcast. Of course, you can follow us at PHNX__Rising because double the underscore.
Double the
road games.
Trips to New Mexico in a short time span for Owain.
Yay! Most likely, but we'll have to see after Saturday. Yeah, you could follow. Oh man, yes. Leave a like.
We're gonna get hate comments from Jearl soon if we're not careful.
Leave a like on your way out here, of course. Really helps us out. And of course, we will be back after post game after Saturday. You can follow me on Twitter at MaxDavidSimpson. You can follow Owen on Twitter at OJEvans18. You can follow Rees at Rees11_. You can follow Mr. Kyle pushing the buttons behind the Mac at KCoop Sports. Again, back on Saturday. Keep on out for some content.
And of course, make the most of our current diehard introductory offer.
Make the most
Mr.
of your
Simpson,
diehard
introduction.
I was teeing you up for it.
Go phnx.com/intro. We got the introductory offer. It's only $4 a month for your first year.
Introductory.
You sign up and you get access to all of the content on
We
our
got
website.
diehards in the chat.
We got diehards in the
We
chat.
appreciate
you get
you.
access to the diehards only Discord where you can bully Max, of course.
There's no bullying there.
Nothing
win.
happens
Merch
besides
discounts.
picking our FIFA teams. No other events, right?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely no other hot dog challenges.
No streams. No.
No,
There's
definitely no
there's a
hot dog
Rees hot dog
challenges.
stream in there. It's great stuff. Maybe we'll even give you a little diehards only kind of competition within the competition we're going to run for playoffs this year.
We like that. Yes, there will be a competition. Be on the lookout again. Become a diehard today. Go phnx.com. Become a diehard. That introductory offer. But yes, until then, see you guys Saturday. Post-match is a beautiful game, but it's so more beautiful when Phoenix Rising don't have everything to play for on Saturday. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.